If someone becomes defensive, the moment you ask a simple question, pay attention, because defensiveness in a relationship is rarely just about the moment. It's often a signal that something deeper is happening underneath. Have you ever noticed how quickly a conversation can shift from something so calm when you have asked something so small, so reasonable, and instead of getting clarity, you get a reaction? The tone changes. There's avoidance or blame, or even turning it back onto you. And suddenly, you're the one questioning yourself, wondering if you said something wrong. And this is where confusion begins, because instead of addressing what was asked, the focus moves away from the issue and onto the reaction. And over time, this creates a pattern where you stop asking, you start second guessing, or you try to keep the peace just to avoid that response. And this is where things start to become unhealthy, not just because of what may or may not be happening, but because communication is no longer open or safe. And it's important to understand this clearly. Defensiveness doesn't always mean someone is hiding something, but it often means they are protecting something. And that could be insecurity, it could be a fear of being exposed, a fear of being wrong, or sometimes something they don't want to face. And this is where you have to stay grounded, because the mistake many people make is trying to manage the other person's reaction instead of staying connected to what they were originally asking. And slowly, without realizing it, you move away from clarity and into avoidance. And that's where doubt starts to build, because when there is inconsistency between what is said and how it is responded to, your mind tries to fill the gaps. And that's when overthinking, assumptions, and anxiety begin. And this is why transparency and honesty are not optional in a relationship. They are what creates safety, because when you know you can ask something and receive a clear, calm, and honest response, there is far less room for confusion. And when that isn't there, you feel it, even if you can't always explain it. And this is where your role becomes important, because you cannot control how someone responds. However, you can decide what you engage with. And instead of getting pulled into the reaction, you bring the focus back to the question calmly, clearly, without escalating it. Because clarity doesn't need force, it needs consistency. And at the same time, you also check in with yourself. Am I asking from a place of fear or from a place of clarity? Because your tone and intention, if you're conscious of it, matter. And when you are grounded in yourself, you are less likely to be pulled into defensiveness or react to it. And this is where your self-relationship becomes key, because the more secure you are within yourself, the less you ignore what doesn't feel right, and the less you accept confusion as normal. And over time, this creates a different dynamic, because of course the communication improves and the lack of it becomes clearer too. Either direction, it becomes clear whether you've got a healthy relationship or you don't. And you won't always feel like you have to walk on eggshells. You ask the right question and it creates space for openness and honesty and understanding. And if it isn't consistent, then there's something that you really got to look into and not ignore. I hope this resonates, and if it does, and you want to understand your patterns and build stronger relationships with yourself and others, my book Fix Me is linked below. And if this helped, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to my channel so I can help other people build healthier relationships with clarity and not confusion. I'll see you in the next video.